Billionaire Brock Harcourt paced across his marble foyer, head pounding from the echo of Titan's non-stop growls that rattled every gold-lined corridor. The giant Rottweiler had once been a loyal guard dog, but after a traumatic kennel fire months ago, his nerves turned frayed like snapped violin strings. Trainers with clickers, vets with calming sprays, and even an animal psychic tried, yet each left with ripped sleeves. Harcourt built satellites and skyscrapers, but the problem growling behind steel gates felt bigger than any merger he had conquered. Titan snarls ruined an investor brunch, sending guests diving behind centerpieces and sparking headlines that mocked the tycoon. Furious and embarrassed, he vowed to end the ridicule by issuing the boldest dare his public relations team could draft. On digital billboards from Wall Street to Venice Beach flashed a single line, "Earn $1 million if you can calm my dog." The message, glowing in Harcourt Industries blue, lit up night skies and turned city chatter toward the reclusive mogul's estate. Some called it marketing genius, others saw arrogance, but everyone agreed the prize was real. Brock never reneged on wagers. Within hours, animal behaviorists booked flights, convinced the payout would fund entire research labs. Rescue volunteers dreamed of new shelters, while casual thrill-seekers imagined instant celebrity through a viral victory. News anchors held countdown graphics, hyping the upcoming weekend challenge as if it were a heavyweight title fight. Meanwhile, Titan paced inside his soundproof enclosure, nails clicking like metronomes, unaware of the circus brewing beyond iron gates. He barked at his reflection, lunged at drifting leaves, and refused every plush toy tossed into the padded room. Security feeds captured his eyes, wide, wet, searching for comfort even the soft music could not give. Harcourt watched those screens past midnight, sighing into espresso that tasted like failure. Each growl stabbed his chest, not from fear but from the reminder that money, his usual tool, had no handle on grief or memory. Still, pride whispered louder than empathy, pushing him to host the televised test inside the Rose Garden 3 days later. Invitations listed strict rules: 20 minutes to soothe Titan, no force or drugs, live streamed for all to see. The world marked calendars, wondering whether genius, compassion, or sheer luck would claim the million-dollar bone. Saturday dawned with cameras lined along trimmed hedges while Titan's breaths fogged the glass wall of his holding crate. The first challenger, a professor from Berlin, knelt with a sausage treat and a confident grin, certain academic theory would trump fear. Titan lunged, teeth clacking inches from the treat, and the professor retreated faster than he could pronounce conditioning. Next came a Zen monk who whispered mantras, yet the dog's reply was a thunderous bark that scattered tranquil chants like startled birds. A celebrity dog influencer in neon sneakers tried an upbeat playlist, but Titan shredded the portable speaker in 2 bounces. Minute after minute, the Rose Garden rang with gasps as experts abandoned clipboards and prestige, humbled by raw panic in canine form. Reporters narrated the failures, and social media trolls turned the event into a meme factory titled "$1 Million Mayhem." Harcourt sat stiff in an ornate iron chair, his face unreadable even as each failure tightened his jaw. His chief of staff whispered that the optics were slipping, but the billionaire shrugged, insisting the bet would prove the point. Some things are impossible. Outside the mansion's gates, a crowd gathered behind barricades, among them a small girl with sun-bleached hair and a patched backpack. Lily had no phone, no trainer badge, and no home except an abandoned bus by the river. Yet she felt heat in her chest when she heard Titan's distressed howls, the sound she recognized from nights comforting scared strays under bridges. She squeezed through the crowd, asking a guard if the offer still stood. The guard chuckled, then radioed, surprise crackled before a reluctant yes. Lily stepped onto the lawn, her dusty sneakers stark against the glimmering grass. Murmurs drifted as phones rose, filming the ragged girl walking with calm purpose. Reporters whispered that Harcourt must be desperate, but Lily paid no mind, silently counting her breaths the way her late mother taught during storms. Titan, inside his crate, paused mid-growl, sensing a change in the pattern of footsteps approaching. Lily stopped 3 yards away, crouched low, and spoke in a humble voice. "Hey, big friend, I'm Lily. I bet the world feels loud to you." A hush drifted over the lenses as the billionaire's $1 million wager met a challenger whose only asset was gentle honesty, yet whose quiet courage boomed louder than any fortune. The crate door slid aside with a metallic sigh, and Lily stayed low, letting Titan sniff the coils of city dust on her shoes. She saw his hackles flutter like half-raised flags, more wary than wild, a clue the experts had missed. From her bag, she drew a crumpled wool scarf scented with wood smoke and distant pine. Lily placed it between them, saying softly, "It's okay to be scared. This smells like nights I wanted the world to quiet too." Titan's nostrils flared. The growl slipped down an octave, more question than threat, and his massive shoulders stopped trembling. She recalled how strays opened up when given patience instead of treats, knowing time itself was the gift. With slow fingers, she produced a battered harmonica, its chrome sides worn dull by countless lullabies played beneath bridges. A single lone note drifted out, warm as dusk over a river, and Titan's ears twitched. Lily kept her gaze averted, letting the dog decide the distance, each breath a silent promise that she would not betray his trust. Reporters expecting drama found themselves holding costly breath as Lily held that note, the garden fragile in silence. She shifted into a gentle tune her mother had called Moonpath, a song meant to help children sleep when thunder rattled rooftops. Titan's head tilted, and for the first time that day he sat rather than paced, muscles relaxing like a knotted rope meeting water. Lily placed her palm on the grass, open and empty, signaling there was nothing to fight, nothing to lose, only a place to rest. After what felt like hours but was only moments, Titan stepped forward, heavy paws crunching rose petals that had fallen during earlier commotions. The dog sniffed her fingers, then nudged the harmonica, a request for the song to continue. Lily obliged, weaving a slower lull. She whispered between breaths, "Good boy, the world can be gentle," and her words floated with the notes, soft armor against old fears. Titan's tail swept the lawn in cautious arcs, brushing away sawdust memories of the kennel fire that still haunted his dreams. One more step, and his broad chest pressed into Lily's knees. She wrapped an arm around his neck, light as a hoodie string. Cameras clicked like distant insects, but the girl and the dog seemed encased in a bubble where only melody and heartbeat existed. When the final note faded, Titan exhaled a low huff and lay at her feet, head resting on the scarf, eyes half closed in easy surrender. When Titan's head touched grass, the event timer flashed victory, and the garden erupted like midday fireworks. Harcourt's stoic expression cracked. First his eyebrows lifted, then an honest smile, rare as solar eclipses, spread across his face. He rose, ignoring cameras, and strode toward Lily, cufflinks catching sun across expertly manicured turf. Security guards shifted, but he waved them off, knowing any sudden move could snap the fragile, calm Titan now guarded like treasure. Lily stood as the billionaire approached, brushing rose petals from her jeans, her eyes steady yet unsure of what adults expected next. Harcourt cleared his throat, voice softer than reports portrayed. "Young lady, it appears you have won yourself a considerable prize." Lily's glance flicked to Titan, who answered with a leisurely tail wag, then back to the tycoon whose pen was already out for signatures. Reporters swarmed, but Harcourt lifted a hand, gifting the girl a circle of quiet. "Before we talk money," Lily said, words slow and plain, "may I keep the scarf with him for a while? It helps him feel safe." The request disarmed Harcourt more than any negotiation in his multimillion-dollar boardrooms. He nodded without hesitation. Lily knelt again, tucking the scarf under Titan's chin, whispering a promise to visit if allowed. Titan's tail drew lazy eights, tossing petals like confetti born of kindness. Harcourt signaled to his finance director, who produced a giant ceremonial check already embossed with Lily's name and the seven-figure sum. Cameras flashed as the oversized check slid into her small hands, an image destined for tomorrow's front pages. "Sir," Lily said, holding the check gingerly, "could I use most of this to build a place where scared animals can heal like Titan?" Whispered gasps swirled around them. Even cynical reporters felt warmth tugging at skepticism hardened by years of scandal coverage. Harcourt inhaled, gauging her dream, then offered a firm handshake and pledged architects, land, and lawyers. "The shelter and training center," he declared, "will bear any name you choose, doubled by my foundation." Titan, sensing the agreement, gave a gentle bark that sounded remarkably like applause, drawing laughter from every corner of the garden. For the first time in months, Harcourt realized that solving a problem with empathy could feel richer than solving it with spreadsheets and interest rates combined. Construction began the very next month on land that once held an unused polo field at the edge of Harcourt's estate. Lily named the place Second Song Haven, honoring the melody that first bridged fear and trust. Architects added skylights, and veterinarians volunteered shifts, drawn by a tale that warmed the world overnight. Titan became the resident ambassador, greeting each newcomer with a boof and a wag instead of the thunder once feared worldwide. Lily insisted every enclosure include a cubby for blankets that smelled of calm memories, believing scent was the first language of peace. Children from nearby schools visited to read aloud, their voices weaving a chorus of hope through corridors scented with lavender. Harcourt, once allergic to downtime, spent Saturdays polishing bowls and learning trust exercises. Board members joked about their CEO sweeping floors, yet quarterly reports still glowed. Lily drafted simple training guides with cartoons, ensuring any kid could teach a frightened pet to breathe easier. Donations poured in, spare blankets, handmade toys, even a new harmonica engraved with the words "Bravery has many tunes." One evening, a storm knocked out power, and dogs whined at dark windows. Lily's harmonica pierced the gloom, Titan howled along, and anxiety melted. Volunteers placed lanterns like tiny stars, and Harcourt read bedtime stories with clumsy but charming voices. After the lights returned, video clips of the impromptu concert went viral, branding Second Song Haven a beacon of community resilience. Town councils asked for satellite centers, and Lily's budget strained joyfully under growing dreams. She applied for nonprofit status, guided by lawyers from Harcourt Industries who spoke in everyday words rather than legal fog. The girl who once counted coins for day-old bread now signed invoices for solar panels, marveling at what kindness could fund. Yet she never let the mission feel like business. Every big decision passed Titan's test. If his tail wagged, the idea stayed. Media outlets shifted from quick headlines to deeper pieces on how empathy, backed by resources, could ripple beyond single acts. School essays quoted Lily, stating that bravery wasn't loud or expensive. It was steady, patient, and willing to kneel on cold grass. Even Harcourt's harshest critics admitted that the day he lost a bet became the day he gained a wiser metric for value, one not listed on any stock exchange. 2 years later, Second Song Haven hosted an anniversary festival that felt more like a family reunion than a fundraiser. Balloons in sky blue and harmonica silver waved above booths offering dog kisses for donations and cupcakes shaped like tiny paw prints. Lily, now taller and surer, opened the ceremony beside Titan, whose black coat gleamed under bunting colored by local schoolchildren. She thanked attendees with the same plain sincerity that once pierced through billionaire pride and canine terror alike. Harcourt followed, presenting a plaque that read, "To Lily Rivers, whose melody turned fear into harmony." Cameras clicked, but he kept his speech brief, admitting he had learned more in the shelter's halls than at any executive retreat. The crowd laughed when Titan shoved his nose into the microphone, producing a low woof that echoed like an encore. Guests toured rooms where once timid dogs tackled agility runs, their barks syncing with portable speakers. In the quiet corridor behind the stage, Lily spotted a nervous terrier shaking beside a volunteer's feet. She knelt, offered her well-worn scarf, and hummed Moon Path, the tune that had begun everything. The terrier's shiver slowed, eyes softening as memory and hope exchanged places in his beating chest. Lily smiled, realizing the cycle of calm would never end as long as someone kept lending time instead of force. Elsewhere, Harcourt listened to investors on a conference call, but he paced with lighter steps, reading profit graphs and shelter updates in the same breath. He no longer believed money could solve all problems. Instead, he viewed it as a microphone for the right melody. Journalists covering the festival noticed that theme, wealth-serving wisdom, threaded through every interview like gentle background music. Before sunset, a rainbow arced over the field after a brief drizzle, and Titan barked at the colors, tail wagging as though cheering the sky. Children laughed, chasing reflections in puddles, while adults exchanged stories about their first volunteer shifts and favorite rescue tales. Lily closed her eyes, letting the sounds blend, laughter, harmonica strains, soft paws on grass, and stored them as a promise for tomorrow. She whispered to Titan, "People think I calmed you, but maybe you calmed the whole world," and the dog leaned into her side. In that moment, everyone present understood that a lost bet had transformed into a shared win, measured not in dollars, but in hearts that beat a little braver. As twilight settled, lanterns glowed amber, and Second Song Haven buzzed with gentle chatter like fireflies talking. Volunteer bands strummed soft folk tunes while rescue dogs wandered between blankets, accepting pets as though royalty. Lily greeted each family by name, amazed that lessons learned on city streets now guided hundreds toward kindness. Harcourt stood nearby, hands in pockets, noting her style felt less like leadership and more like a friendly invitation. A retired astronaut offered funds to launch therapy dog visits for children recovering from heart surgeries in faraway hospitals. Lily's eyes lit up. She asked Titan if he would train the recruits, and the dog barked twice, sealing the new partnership. A towering LED screen displayed live graphs showing that anxiety scores of new arrivals fell by half after 48 hours in care. Teachers pointed to those numbers, telling students that science and kindness can dance together without stepping toes. Reporters confessed they had come seeking scandal, but instead found a working recipe for towns hungry for hope. In a quiet corner, Lily swapped Titan's worn harmonica for a shiny one gifted by a school band, promising richer tunes. She blew one clear note. Titan's tail tapped like a metronome, guiding other dogs into a calm parade around tables. People followed, learning that joy needs neither big speeches nor viral stunts, only shared rhythm and open time. Harcourt climbed a small wooden stage and pledged year-long scholarships, full supplies, and guidance to any teen who logged 100 volunteer hours. Cheers rose, not for money alone, but because listeners felt the billionaire's heart beating in step with theirs. A cinnamon-scented breeze rolled over the field. Titan sneezed, sparking collective giggles that echoed hill to hill. Lily whispered each sneeze planted a dream, and Harcourt quietly promised seed funds for all the dog could muster. Above them, drones filmed a sunset that painted kennel roofs with molten gold, like fresh chapters written in light. Children waved at the cameras and asked if the footage would become a movie. Lily promised free lawn screenings next spring. As the first star blinked awake, Titan settled beside his scarf, sighing a deep rumble that hummed through the grass. Everyone paused, hearing that sound, and felt certain the happiest ending was simply the courage to start again tomorrow.